Welcome back to the Anorak Entertainment Podcast, everybody. My name is Don Martino, and I am excited to be here to talk about, well, our main topic later is going to be the Halloween Kills trailer. We'll get into that. But mostly I'm excited about our guests today. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know we haven't been here almost all week, I don't think, doing this show. So it's great to be back and talking with all of you. And guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button below. Subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section. Share this with your friends. And hit that bell for notifications. Also, guys, the show is on Spotify now. Make sure you are over there following the Anorak Entertainment Podcast feed for all the latest shows. If you're ever on a commute, it's really handy. Anyway, so before I get to our guest today, I'm going to go ahead and introduce, well, not introduce, you guys know her and love her. Usually does the news on this show. It's Miss Samee Ramirez. Samee, how you doing?
That's me. I'm doing good. Happy to be here as always.
Right on, and happy to have you. But here we go. So our guest today is, you probably know her from Star Wars Sunday. She's been on a couple times, but it is Miss Cilla Torres, or Cilla Torres. She was trying to correct me before the show, whose camera is not popping up right now for some reason. But how are you, Cilla, while I try to fix this? Oh, there we go.
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. It's my first time doing anything. Doing anything like this. So, yeah. Excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Welcome
for sure. We're excited to have you. And so, like, we don't see, one of the things is about great things about getting guests on here is, like, we get to know them as people and everything. So, like, I don't really know you. I don't know you very well. So, I mean, like, where'd you grow up? Where were you born?
I was born in Modesto, California. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Modesto.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a not that small, but I was born there, and then my parents moved to the Bay Area, so my childhood was there, and then we moved back over here. So I live in Ceres now, but it's like right next to Modesto.
Okay.
So, and yeah, I've just been here for 10 years.
Nice.
So California your whole life then, essentially.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't know. Do you like
California.
it there? Do you like California? Would you want to move? Because I know some people that lived in California and they actually don't really like it that much, and then I hear other people say they really love it. So how are you on that?
I love California. This is what I know, and I've been to Nevada, I've been to Florida, and it's nice over there too, but I don't see myself going anywhere else.
Cool. That's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, that's really, really cool. Yeah. So right now, I mean, I'm assuming, but I don't know. Everybody's situation is different. I mean, mom and dad were in the picture your whole life, or was that,
Yeah. For most of my life, my dad was in the picture. My mom too. I have 2 older sisters, an older brother.
Okay.
And I'm the youngest.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
Youngest. Oh man, I bet that was probably rough, huh? No. So some people like being the youngest.
Not really.
Okay, I mean, some people like being I'm the youngest too. So like, I don't know. I've kind of seen
the oldest,
the pros and the cons to that. You're the oldest, Samee.
Okay. I only have one younger brother, but still the oldest, still an eldest daughter. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen the pros and the cons to being the youngest, and you know But for you, I mean, what did your folks do? I mean, doctors, lawyers, or is it something less than that? I don't know. I mean,
well, my parents they came here from Mexico, so they're immigrants, and they came here.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, they were young. But my mom right now, she works at a winery. My dad's in construction.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And so, yeah, that's what they do.
No, I mean, that's super cool, winery. I mean, that's a really interesting job to have. I mean, for you, too, I mean, as far as jobs go, I mean, did you, kind of grow up working like a lot of different types of jobs, or, I mean...
No, not for me. Luckily, I'm the youngest, so I get spoiled.
Okay.
But I'm working now, so that's good.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay. Well, what are you doing, if you don't mind me asking?
I work at the after-school program for elementary.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
So you work with a lot of kids then.
Yeah.
That's cool. No, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool. So, I mean, transitioning, I mean, a little bit too. We'll kind of transition into your love for things like Star Wars and Marvel and things like that. I mean, when did that start? I mean, I know Star Wars. Actually, you told me already you were kind of a late bloomer when it came to that. A little bit more.
Yeah. Growing up, I knew about Star Wars, but I didn't get into it until recently because of the pandemic. So yeah, I'm definitely a late bloomer.
Yeah. Well, you told me, I believe, and this could be an interesting conversation because, a lot of the people that we talk to, typically, they grew up with it from a young age. A lot of people that come on this show anyway. And, so for you, I believe you said that, so you started with the sequels, right? I think you said Force Awakens was the first one you saw, right?
Yes. Yeah. With my nephew, because he was a Star Wars fan, but he was a little kid. He didn't really know anything about Star Wars. He's just like, oh, like people lightsabers. That's awesome.
Right.
But yeah, we went to go watch it in theaters.
Okay.
And it was Force Awakens, and I didn't know anything about it. I just watched the movie, and that was it.
Right. So something about Force Awakens then sparked your interest to go back and see what the hell was going on before that, right? I'm assuming, or was it one of the later films that you watched that made you do that?
It was actually The Mandalorian that made me want to go.
Okay, that makes some sense. So you're in Force Awakens. Is this opening day or is this like later on, or do you even remember at this point?
I don't really remember. I just know there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
They were really excited, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" But yeah, it was fun.
So it's probably near the opening, I would imagine. Maybe not the opening, but it was near it if it was packed. So
yeah,
so that's pretty cool. I mean, so I mean, my question to you, I guess, on that would be, like, I mean, I know you said that it was really fun and exciting, but like, I've talked to some other people that have come into this late, and like one of their first ones would have been Force Awakens, or I've even talked to people who the first one they saw was like Phantom Menace back in 1999. So when you're watching Force Awakens, you walk into this theater, I mean, are you kind of, is it more of like a holy shit, something is different, or did you just like say, oh, this is it's a big deal, so of course it's going to be packed, to kind of roll off your back a little bit more?
Yeah, I knew it was a big deal. I think for me, I loved like Marvel and all of that, so it was kind of like, oh, these people love Star Wars, so that's their thing.
Yeah.
So I understood it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's fair. So when'd you get into Marvel then? We'll track back to there. What was have you been watching since the beginning, or was that something that came later too?
It was pretty. I was really really young because I grew up like loving Disney too. So
okay, yeah.
My brother, he was the one that introduced me to Marvel because he grew up loving Spider-Man.
Okay.
So he had the figurines and he had some comic books, and I was like really young. I was probably like 5 or 6, and I just remember seeing a comic book and just seeing like the characters, and that's kind of like what made me like interested in it. And it was more specifically X-Men that I really liked.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a friend named Jareth, and he's probably the biggest comic book nut you'll ever meet. Sammy could probably attest to that. Yeah. He was on the show before. And he's the same. X-Men was like the first thing he ever read, and that like, made him spiral down this, sort of, I don't want to call it a black hole, but sort of hole of comic books, and is rabbit hole. And so, he's just kind of been obsessed ever since. And yeah, so like, I mean, X-Men is, usually a typically pretty good entry point for a lot of people. Was there a first Marvel movie you remember watching specifically though, that you were like, this is like amazing, and like, I just can't go back now?
Yeah, it was probably Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Yes.
That was amazing. Sweet. I love it.
I have the same answer. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, honestly, like, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't like the first Marvel thing I remember watching that made me react the same way. At the time, it was so revolutionary, and I just remember. I'm sure you remember too, just being a kid and just being so excited for the next one to come out. I mean, it was just. It was always just such a great time. Spider-Man was great. So back to Star Wars a little bit though. So Force Awakens, you get there, and then you're like, okay, so I can identify, because of my, liking for Marvel, that, Star Wars is also it's just another fandom. It's a big deal. And then you go and see Last Jedi, I'm assuming, right? 2 years later, when it comes out, after watching Force Awakens. And so, the question there that I would have is, is it still like the same type of feeling, like, because you said you didn't watch till Mandalorian go back, so for me, I guess, did you take somebody to see Last Jedi, or was it Force Awakens that motivated you to go see the next one?
I think for the Last Jedi, I think I went with my nephew again, and we just watched it in theaters, and I don't really remember it that much because it all just like matched together for me. But it wasn't until The Mandalorian that I went back and I rewatched everything. I was like, this makes sense now. So yeah.
Oh, sure.
Oh, for sure. Right.
Yeah. Did you have something, Samee?
Oh no, that just reminded me of like the first time I saw Phantom Menace. Like, because that was the first one that I ever saw, and the first Star Wars movie. And I remember being like, I was picking up on a lot, but it was mainly just vibes. You know what I mean? Like, I liked the vibe of the whole movie. I liked the look of everything. I liked how it made me feel. But like, if you were to ask me like what actually happened right after I saw it for the first time, I'd be like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I feel that of like, I don't really remember what happened. I just remember like feeling happy.
Yeah. So let's dive into Mandalorian then. So for me, that's the thing, like you said, that it took you back. It made you say, I got to go back and watch everything else. And what's really incredible about you is that you didn't just go back and watch everything else. I mean, you watched everything else, right? I mean, you went through Clone Wars and Rebels, and you sucked it up like a sponge, at that point. For you go back, and what's the first one that you watch when you go back? It was a Phantom Menace or A New Hope? Did we lose her?
I watched The New Hope.
Oh, okay.
I just made sure, because I Googled it, because I wasn't sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah, we're
Sorry,
good. Yeah.
I thought I lost it.
Okay.
You're good. So New Hope. Sorry, so New Hope.
No, so I Googled, I Googled how to watch Star Wars, because I was so confused because of the episodes. And I made sure I had a list of the order to watch it in.
Okay.
So I did start with A New Hope.
Yeah. So was this after? So was this like after the season of Mandalorian had ended, or was this middle of Mandalorian? A little bit more.
It was the beginning of season 2.
Oh, okay. So
how many seasons are there in Mandalorian?
Two seasons.
Two.
2 seasons.
2 seasons, yeah.
Right.
So it was the beginning of the season 2.
So you'd already seen like an entire season. So you're going back to watch these originals now. And I guess my question would be, are you starting to try to like tie things together now, or like make the connections, or what was it that just, I guess, kept you going through it? I mean, was it because like when I saw Star Wars for the first time as a child, like I didn't really like think about it much, but like then when I rewatched it as an adult, like New Hope, it's like, oh, like now I get it. Like something clicked for me, like that this is like a whole new like way of telling stories. You know what I mean? It's storytelling wise, it's like on a whole new level than like everything else. So I don't know, like what was it though that, I mean, like kind of kept you going after New Hope, or was it just like, did you just love the movie right off the bat? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I really liked the first season of The Mandalorian, and starting with the second season, I felt like I was missing something. Okay. I felt like there were some references that I didn't get.
Oh, for sure.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to watch the first movies and see if I understand more.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I just, so...
that I feel like Dave Filoni just like checked like checked your name off a list somewhere, you know, like he was like, done, we got another one, guys, we did it. I told you, Kathleen, I told you it'd work.
100%. I feel like that's kind of Dave's whole initiative,
100%,
trying to like just, you know, make sure that this new generation is, you know, our fans, or the people that they haven't picked up yet, our fans. And I think that's awesome that like Mandalorian inspired you to go back and absorb it all. So I then you got to go watch the prequels though. And this is a question that I would have for somebody who's new to it. Are you watching the prequels and thinking that there's something different about these? I mean, I don't know. What was your reaction to the prequels, I guess?
I think for me, watching the first movies, I really liked it because they had like a lot of the Dark Crystal energy that I used to watch as a kid. And I love the Dark Crystal. And so watching the prequels, it was a little different. There was a lot more like effects and CGI and stuff. But yeah, also I was really interested in Darth Vader and how he came to be. So I was just watching every movie, even if I didn't like it, I was like, this is going to lead to something really good.
Yeah.
So I stayed the whole time.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I would imagine that when you say even if I didn't like it, you're probably referring to Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. That's probably the, you know, the ones you would be referring to. But no, I mean, yeah, those movies are so dated now. They look more dated than the originals, in my opinion, and that's like really kind of sad because the originals were made way back in the, you know, 77 into 1980s, you know, and then so anyway, so, you know, I guess, so then you get through all this, and then so you go into Clone Wars, and I guess, like, by the time you're in Clone Wars, I'd imagine at that point, you're really starting to make the connections to Mandalorian, and, like, it's all starting to come together. Am I correct on that?
Yes, yeah. I went into Clone Wars, and I really liked the Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi relationship. That's what made me like stick with that show. And I love their characters so much. For sure. I mean, I'm sure Ahsoka is like another draw, you know. I mean, you're getting this really great story, especially for like young females. She's one of my favorite characters too. I mean, she's my second favorite Star Wars character ever, but you know, you're looking at you know,
Vader's number one, right? Just making sure I know, right?
Luke.
Oh, who's number one? Oh, Luke's number one. Oh, okay.
Vader was number 2, and then Ahsoka took his spot.
So Vader is 3?
Probably. I have to reevaluate because, you know, I've read so many like canon novels and books at this point, and then we got Mandalorian on top of that. It's like
you got to think about it.
I know so many characters now, so I'm gonna have to really think about it at this point. But right now, it's I would never put anybody above Luke, though. That's like the one thing in my mind that I know.
That's fair.
Like, Luke is always going to be my favorite, just because he was like a hero to me, you know, growing up watching him as a kid, and but Ahsoka like just took that slot for my second favorite, and so for like Cilla, you know, and even like Samee, who still hasn't finished the Clone Wars, and he's
halfway, like towards the end of season 2, I think, right?
I
have like 2 more episodes in season 2, middle-ish.
2 more episodes. No, you got more than that. But
you got more. Okay,
you're like middle of the season.
It's been a while since we watched a middle season 2.
Yeah, we got to get back to that. But anyway,
going chronological order though. We're going chronological though.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. But anyway, so for, you know, like Samee and Cilla, any female watches Clone Wars, you have the Ahsoka Tano draw. I would imagine that was, you know, you get this really great female character, and then watching her arc from beginning to end of that series, I mean, I have to assume Cilla was like incredible for you, seeing that happen. I mean, do you like Ahsoka, or I don't know if we've ever talked about it, honestly. I would assume you do.
Yeah, I do like Ahsoka. I like how she was Anakin's Padawan and how they had their little relationship too. So it was really funny to watch them together.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it just makes me think like, oh, how would this be in a live action? Like, I would really want to see that too.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I mean, which, you know, we got that episode, you know, in
Yeah,
Mandalorian,
and
which
that was one of the best Mandalorian episodes.
Fantastic. And I we might have talked about this too, but did you enjoy the Rosario Dawson version of Ahsoka Tano in Mandalorian also? I'll let you swallow your drink there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
I first saw Ahsoka on The Mandalorian, so that's how I kind of pieced it together who they were.
Okay. So watching it that way, then that's even more fascinating.
Yeah.
So watching it that way, do you feel like you probably didn't really like. Well, no, you wouldn't have had that thing where it's like a lot of us are like, okay, Rosario better kill it, Rosario better kill it. You know, so I mean, I guess for you, it's just like watching this character in animated form, but do you feel like they did a good job, like, connecting the two in general after seeing Clone Wars?
Yeah, I think they did. I mean, we only saw a couple episodes with Rosario Dawson, so I feel like we need to see a lot more to see, like, how good they do her character. Yeah. But yeah, that was also a reason why I started watching Clone Wars, because I didn't know Ahsoka, I didn't know what her story was, and this owl, I had no idea what that was either. So yeah.
You and I kind of talked about this too, though, speaking of, like, you know, that fan pressure to, you know, have things a certain way. We've kind of talked about this on the stereo show, where you didn't really, you know, feel that with, like, the sequels because you saw them first. So for you, I'm assuming it was just the thing of, I mean, I'm pretty sure you told me this, that you just really enjoyed all three because you're not really looking for that thing that I guess the rest of us were who grew up with this, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that picky with things either, but at the same time, I don't have that, like, relationship with these characters for so long that other people have. So I'm not, like, overprotective of these characters.
Right.
I just like watch whatever they give.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, the way that, you know, I described it, we were talking with Jose on the show the last week, and the way I was kind of talking to him was like, when I get into that theater and I'm watching a Star Wars movie, I'm 12 years old again.
A different person.
It's a different thing. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to sit here and try to pretend like I have to critique these like I do every other film. You know, like, I'll do a review on them after the fact and throw it on the channel or whatever, you know, and I'll at that point, I'll turn into the critic for like 2 seconds. But when it comes to the movie itself, I don't care either. You know, it's like, this is Star Wars, you know, I'm 12 years old. Even the prequels, which I have mountains of problems with. It's like, I don't care. I'm 12 years old again with these movies. And, you know, so, right. Like you're saying though, like you're not that picky with it anyway. And like, I mean, does it kind of like, now that you're kind of in it a little bit more though, does it kind of baffle you, like the way that, you know, people tend to get about these things, or, you know, like when they like pick everything apart, or was that surprising to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how some people get with the movies. So I knew that going in, but at the same time, I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna like come in with an open mind, and I love every single movie that they've done. And but other people have their opinions too, and they have their feelings, and I think that's also valid too.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm not saying that they're not. It's just there's a point where you kind of draw a line and you're like, these movies are, you know, they're made for kids, you know? So it just seems like at the end of the day, it's like sometimes people just, you know, they take them way too seriously, you know? And as much as I love Star Wars, and as much as it has a special place in my heart, believe me, it just seems like people do, and I really do. I take every piece of canon and I read it and I look at it and I'm like, you know, I love it. You know, I love it so much. It's reserved in a special place in a special place in my heart. But, you know, I can't sit there and justify just like tearing it apart. Like the fact that, you know, sitting there and trying to figure out if like Rey's an actual, like, if she's good enough to be a Jedi or things like that, you know, it's like shut up, you know. It's like she's really, like, it's cool that they like introduced us to a female character in the first place, you know what I mean, in my opinion. And, you know, for me, it's like I don't hold her to like any other standard I wouldn't hold like Luke Skywalker. And if you look at Luke's story, in my opinion, it's just as good as Rey's in a lot of ways, you know, like just when you look at it on surface level, there's a lot of great things in there. And so I feel like people are there's problems with the movies. I'm not saying that there's not, but I definitely feel like a lot of people are, what's the word you would use, Sammy? Misogynistic, maybe?
Yeah, they hold Rey to a higher standard than they do to Luke simply because she's a girl. You
Right.
know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
like, she has to be the best thing this universe has ever produced if they're gonna ask me to empathize with a female hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't ask that of our male heroes.
Exactly,
Sure.
exactly. And I guess for for sure, it's 100% true, but I guess for Cilla, being a female fan, it's a lot more accepted now than it used to be. But have you do you find it difficult to like express that to other people, like your love for Star Wars, or was that something that you just don't care? You're like, no, I'll tell people I love Star Wars. Fuck them,
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open to like telling people like, oh, I love Marvel, I love this, and but sometimes they look at me and they're like, oh, they're surprised, and
Really?
so it's kind of weird. But I remember the specific moment when I went to go watch Spider-Man not Homecoming. What was the first one?
Homecoming. The Tom Holland first one, yeah. The first Tom Holland one was Homecoming.
Yeah. And I went with some friends, and I remember like someone next to me was looking at my friend. He's a guy, and he was like, "Oh, nice to see a fellow like Marvel fan," and just completely like went over me to give him a handshake and didn't tell me anything. So I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny. Like I'm the one that wanted to watch this movie."
Honestly,
so it was weird.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Really though. It's interesting.
People are just so dumb. They just assume that like, oh, it's a guy and a girl together. He must have dragged her to this. There's no way she could ever want to watch a movie like this.
And he wasn't even a Marvel fan. It was like so weird. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. Freaking men sometimes.
No,
I'm sorry, Dom, but sometimes, man.
I agree. I'm not that type of guy. You know this, so like I agree with you. It's BS, and one of the things is it's just I don't know. Like I'm not a female, you know what I mean, but like like a lot of the times, like people assume sometimes because the way I look or whatever. I don't know. I guess I dress nice, so like people just assume like I don't like Star Wars, Marvel, things like that, and they're just like, they're always so surprised or so, whatever the case may be. So I don't feel the pressures of being a female and enjoying these things, but I do kind of understand it from the perspective of like if I've started like a new job or something, you know what I mean, and they like we get into conversations about the things I like outside, and I bring up a Star Wars or Marvel thing, I get weird looks, it's been something. It's been a struggle my entire life, like almost, to be a fan of these things and to like express my fandom of these things. It's like luckily I have a show here where I can do that. But so
I feel like there's also a thing. I feel like this might be only a thing with women because I don't know if men experience this that much, but I feel like a lot of the times when girls do say, like I felt a lot of this growing up when I would say I liked Star Wars or Marvel or like a typically masculine thing, it was kind of like, oh, so you're just trying to not be like other girls. It came off that way, kind of like, well, I'm not like other girls, I like Star Wars, right. I'm better than you should date me because I'm better than all the other girls, I like Star Wars, when like that's just another form of misogyny to think that you're better than another girl because you like a masculine thing. You're just saying that masculine things equal good, feminine things equal bad, which is misogynist.
Right.
So that was a big thing, I feel like, growing up, of like, well, do you really like Star Wars, or do you just want like the guys who like Star Wars to like you? And it's like, why does nobody ask that of men? No one thinks men are out. They just assume they're like, oh, well, they're here because they like the story, but the girl's here to get that guy. She doesn't like the story, or she doesn't like the characters or anything. That's impossible.
Right. Exactly. So for you, Cilla, though, like what are like the aspects though? I know you're like, I'm not too picky about any of it, so you're just gonna absorb it all. So that's cool. But specifically, like when you watch like Star Wars, like what are like the things that you latch onto, or what are you like looking to get out of them, specifically?
Just like the characters. Like I said, I really loved the Darth Vader story and the Obi-Wan story, like the Obi-Wan series. I'm so excited to see that, and I just really I look for like characters that I resonate with. And so with that was Anakin. So I really was like obsessed with him for a while. So,
Right.
but yeah, I love those characters, and that's what I look for. And with the new movies with Rey and Kylo, I really liked their relationship too. So just kind of the relationship to make me believe that they actually, you know, care about each other and all that.
Well, it just makes them feel more tangible too, you know, when you like put them in these like real relationships, and they have real struggles, and struggles that we can relate to in real life, you know, even though it's an intergalactic story, you know, there's, you know, tons of things that on a human level that we can just relate to. And I think that's a lot of what makes it work at the end of the day, and just makes it feel more tangible, you know. So for, you know, you too, I mean, you said, I don't know if you started it yet. You started, but you purchased the first book in the High Republic series. How's that going?
Yeah, I bought it. I haven't. I started a little bit, but I haven't like fully gone into it. But my goal is to finish it this month.
Oh, sweet.
So,
okay. Yeah. See, that was one that I had a really rough time with. My camera's all messed up here. Let me try to fix this real quick. But that was one I personally had a really rough time with. Was that first, what was that, High Republic book? And a lot of it was just due to the fact that they tended to just give us like tons of different characters, which is cool, but like it was like almost so much in the beginning, I felt like. So just for warning you on that, like it does feel like it's a lot and overwhelming, but like it starts to flesh itself out as time goes by. So but anyway, so for you know, you also this is gonna do a weird thing here, hold on, sorry guys. But anyway, so for you, you know, also, I mean, is this something that you were like, you picked up to like commit to, like you thinking about, you know, grabbing the other High Republic books, or is that mainly going to depend on how you like this one?
Yeah, I got the Light of the Jedi because it was kind of like a clean slate with before everything else. So these are characters. These are new characters, right? So I really wanted to get into that, but also I love like the other books that I want to get into with Ventress. I want to get into those books too. Just to learn more about her, because I loved her in Clone Wars. She was like she's my favorite.
Yeah, what's the one that we got? Dark Disciple, which is it's got some good stuff in there.
Right.
That's a good Ventress book. But what's the other what's the one you just read, Sammy? Why can't I think of the name of it? You got
Bloodline.
That. Yeah.
Bloodline by Claudia Gray. That book was really great. That one's about it's about kind of how Leia, it's about Leia after the Return of the Jedi, basically before Force Awakens, where she's like a senator and they're kind of trying to rebuild, and but then, as we know, eventually all of that leads to the creating of the First Order. But it was really good, and it's Claudia Gray, who's definitely like one of my favorite Star Wars people at this point, because she also has another novel, Lost Stars, which I really recommend. I think you probably like it, Cilla. It's basically like it's Romeo and Juliet basically, but in Star Wars, and one of them is in the Rebellion and the other one is in the Empire, and it starts like a little bit before A New Hope and goes through the entirety of the original trilogy, and it is so good. They're incredible. I recommend both. Bloodline and Lost Stars, really, really good.
Same. I'll double down on that. I did. I love both books. Bloodline might be still my favorite Star Wars book, honestly.
Bloodline's great, really, really good. And
Leia,
because for me, Leia is my favorite character. Like Leia, I'm like, would I be the same person I am today without Princess Leia? I really don't know. She means so much to me. And Bloodline really was, because I told Dom that I kind of I didn't expect it to be as slow as it was. It's definitely like a deep character study on Leia. Like not much action really happens, but I loved that though. Like she's my favorite Star Wars character. I got to spend just some time like just kind of existing in her head and how she was feeling.
Yeah, I guess I guess that'd be a question for you, Cilla, though. You know, are you looking for like heavy action, and when it comes to Star Wars things, is that like part of the appeal to you? As you know, I don't know.
Not really. I think as long as the story is captivating and you know, we spend time with characters, I think that's what makes us like these characters, getting to know them more better. So then when the action does happen, we care more about them, and if they, you know, survive or 100%. Anything, you know.
Oh right, like it just raises the stakes, and you know, but you know, it's never the action that I particularly pick up on. Like, I like the action and everything, but it's like it's more or less like what's behind the action. You know,
it's like it's a means to an end almost. You know, like the battle scene is a means to get to, you know, the emotional resolution that we've been building to the entire time. You know, that's kind of more
exactly
how I like Star Wars action.
Yeah, 100%. Like we reference the throne room scene from Last Jedi all the time here.
Great example. Yeah.
It's not that scene, it's all the layers that it took to make that scene work that makes it so effective at the end of the day. So for for you, Cilla, though, I would recommend like Light of the Jedi it's worth a read for sure. I definitely recommend. I think the second book's called A Test of Courage. I don't know. Justine Ireland wrote it, the High Republic book. That's the one I think that you'll really, really start to enjoy personally, and I think you should definitely read that. There's some really, really interesting character moments in that one. I think it's A Test of Courage. I'd have to look. I don't know, but it's back there somewhere. But it's a really, really great book. The other ones I recommend, I talk about the Aftermath trilogy like a broken record. I mean, it really is worth your time. I definitely recommend that as well. So what are you like for future shows and movies? You know, like what are things that you want them to explore down the line?
Well, I'm really excited for the upcoming series with Obi-Wan and also The Mandalorian. So I don't know. I just really, really want to see Sebastian Stan as Luke Skywalker.
Oh my gosh, yes! Get rid of that deep fake Luke. Bring in Sebastian Stan. He works on the same lot. They all work on the same lot. Bring him in.
I think we're all kind of riding that train, that Sebastian 100%. Stan train, where it's like, none of us will really be upset when it's, you know, if he comes in there to play Luke, he'd be really, really good.
It would have made that moment for me because I've said that it took me out of it in the last episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian when deep fake Luke shows up. Like, it took me out of the moment. I was riding it the whole way. Like, his ship came up and like I felt like Luke is coming. I feel it, and then we see the lightsaber and I'm freaking out, and then he pulls it back and it just declined. I was just like, oh, that looks so fake. Yeah, that looks so bad. Why? Sebastian Stan was really that busy? Are you kidding me right now? Right. Took me out of it, and it made me like it less. If you had any actor, I feel like I would have liked that scene more, but Sebastian Stan especially.
It didn't bother me too much. So yes, Cilla, you got to tell Samee here why she needs to finish the Clone Wars though. She's only in season 2, and please tell her
I want
so
to
much
though.
Better.
Yeah.
I think the last season is so worth watching. I cried in the last episode because it was so sad. But yeah, I mean, there's some episodes it's like I used to put it on in the background, but I still was like engaged in it. So like even if you're like doing something, like I wouldn't do homework while watching it or anything, like just to get through it. So yeah. Definitely recommend finishing it.
Yeah,
I want to. Like literally for nothing else. If like we already said, because my 2 favorite things about it is the Obi-Wan and Anakin relationship, and then Ahsoka. So I'm like, if nothing else, I want to watch this to fruition with that, because like every single time there's like even the smallest Anakin and Obi-Wan moment, I just like it's like it hits me right in my heart every single time. I love them so much, and same with Ahsoka. I love her character so much because again, like I have talked about this before, but I watched the Clone Wars movie like when it premiered on Cartoon Network back in the day, and I was so hyped for it because I was like, oh, holy shit, we're really getting a real female Jedi. That like blew my mind. I was like, I don't care, I love her anyway, whoever she is, I'm gonna love her. She's a female Jedi. Are you joking me? This is all I wanted my whole life. And I remember like liking it but not being hooked enough to like want to keep watching the show. But now going back and watching it, I'm like, she gets better and better each episode. And I just know it's going to be incredible. And because they're doing the Ahsoka live action series, right? Coming in sometime in the future. But with Rosario and everything, that's going to be kind of, they sound like it's going to be like a continuation of Rebels, kind of. That's the theory.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
And I want to watch that because that's going to be incredible. I just know it.
Yeah. I mean, as Cilla knows really well the way that Rebels ends, I mean, we really all want to see that continue in the Ahsoka series, I think.
Right. I know it's something about Thrawn. Oh, you haven't finished Rebels?
You haven't finished Rebels? I thought you did.
No, not yet.
Oh.
No, I'm.
Well, then you
like,
finish Rebels. You finish the show.
No, I didn't know that she hadn't.
Yeah.
I thought you did for some reason. I thought you had. I don't know. I thought it's alright, but yeah, you should finish Rebels 100%.
I know. I need
to.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean that it's got that finale is amazing. Outside of Star Wars, I mean, what other movies and TV shows are you into?
Well, I'm watching the Loki series right now.
Oh yeah,
so I love Loki. All the Marvel shows, all the series like WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I have my little WandaVision like poster up in the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Cute! I see it. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
cool.
I like it. Yeah.
That's my favorite show, WandaVision. Even though I love Loki, but yeah, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Right on. I mean,
that was my favorite. Loki is slowly beating it every single episode. Yeah. But but that's like it doesn't bring WandaVision down any. It's just Loki is just rising to its level. Yeah. I love WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, so like you also said, I remember we were talking, you were a Game of Thrones fan as well. You watched all that also.
Yeah, I was also a late bloomer to that one too. But I'm a late bloomer to everything.
Yeah. That's all right. I love Game of Thrones. Like I put that, like I say if anything competes with Star Wars, it's Game of Thrones for me personally. I mean, Star Wars is still my favorite like of the franchises, but Game of Thrones is like right there. I love it so much. That show blew my mind from beginning to end. I mean, it really did. Is there anything like outside of like franchises though that like you hold like a movie or something like that you just kind of hold as like one of your favorites? I mean, outside of like the big stuff,
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Do you have like what would you say is like probably your favorite movie? Like if you have to pick one.
Like of all time?
Of all time.
All time.
Oh, just because this movie is like means a lot to me. The Lion King.
Okay.
Nice. Good pick.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Nice.
That movie's a masterpiece. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
It's so good. Nothing bad to say. Good pick. Yeah.
No, for real. I mean, Lion King is great. You and Samee could probably go on all day about like Disney stuff. I'm sure.
Oh my gosh,
she's massive.
Oh yeah, I love Disney.
That's my thing. That's my Star Wars is Disney. Like that's the thing I'm like the most protective about, the most pretentious about. Like Disney all day, every day.
Yeah. What about have you watched like Cobra Kai or anything like that? Like Netflix, or you into that or no?
No, my nephew keeps on bugging me. He's like, you need to watch Cobra Kai. You need to watch it. And I'm like, I know. I need to watch the movies first. I think the first one, but it was a long time ago, so I need to refresh my mind on that.
Yeah, no, you definitely.
I know people tell me
the
same all the time.
Yeah, Cobra Kai's the shit.
Yeah,
for sure. 100%, really, really great. I love Cobra Kai. Like, what about like I'm frozen again. I don't know why that keeps doing that. What about like the some of the other like classic big ones that people talk about, like Jaws or E.T. or things like that? Are you into that at all, or are you just like I'm not gonna watch those?
Yeah, I watched the E.T. movie, but there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, so I'm like kind of embarrassed to say like the movies I haven't seen.
No, so you're like Samee.
No,
that's me. List of things she needs to see.
I was like, every single day someone's like, have you seen this? And I'm like, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. That's me every day. I'm the resident and haven't seen anything.
Yeah. So have you've never
say name anything made by the Walt Disney Company? I got you. But outside of that, I might not got you.
Yeah. So you haven't seen Jaws then?
I have seen Jaws, but it's been a long time, so I know the like gist of the movie.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's one of the
big shark, big mean shark.
One of the greatest films of all time, right there, if you ask me. But
it is. It's great.
It's amazing, 100%. Probably my second favorite movie of all time, honestly, is Jaws. In all honesty, it's just that good to me. But yeah, I mean, so you've seen like. So you're big on Disney, big on Marvel, big on all that, big on Twilight, evidently, as per the books in the background.
Yeah.
So, that's cool. I mean, there's like I don't know. Like, is that something that you look to do again eventually? Is maybe like expand your viewing of things, or like having not seen a lot of movies, or you just like, no, I'll just stick with the franchises and I'm good with that.
Like watch like new stuff. Is that what you mean?
No. Just like in general, like maybe going back and watching like a ton of classics that you haven't seen, or or maybe even.
Oh yeah. I remember I tried to make a list of like movies that I've never seen because like during the pandemic I was so bored. So I was like, you know what? I need to like watch movies. I need to like watch the classics. Yeah. And so I watched a lot of movies that I hadn't seen. Like I watched Atonement with James McAvoy.
Oh, nice.
I really like that one. Mm-hmm. What other movies have I seen? I watched recently The Phantom of the Opera. Just because I was like, I've never seen it.
The musical one, the Gerard Butler one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That one's all right. There's a lot of people who hate that one, but I think it's all right. It's not the worst.
Well, yeah, I watched the Broadway. I actually like rented it because I was like, I want to see the difference between the two.
Nice.
Right.
But yeah, I loved it. I love musicals. That's like my thing too. I love musicals.
Sweet. Yeah, us too. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're pretty big. Sammy and I, anyway, are pretty big, musical people here.
Yeah.
Sammy especially, probably her more than me, of course. But
yeah.
No, I really like musicals. Did you watch In the Heights?
You're more movie musicals. I'm more Broadway musicals.
Sure. Did you watch In the Heights? Yeah. That just came out.
I did, yeah. I watched it on HBO Max with my mom, and it was really nice. It's nice to see, like, Latino representation on screen. Yeah. That's something that, like, me and my family, we really care about. Like, we watched Coco, and we cried watching it because it's that's us right there.
It's a Coco poster right there. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean,
absolutely.
Coco was absolutely brilliant and really great film.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
And my family's Mexican too, so Coco meant a lot. Coco really meant a lot to us. Yeah, but yeah, same In the Heights. So I loved In the Heights though too. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite musical, Cilla?
My favorite musical, I really liked Hamilton. I'm like, I was obsessed with Hamilton.
Yes, me too. I'm obsessed with Hamilton myself. So yeah, I agree. I thought it was just absolutely incredible, and 3 hours long, but I didn't give a shit. It was just, I mean, everything I ever wanted from a musical. And Lin-Manuel Miranda's quite the genius. So
literal genius,
obviously. So
it was just so different from everything that you hear, like from musicals, like. Watching Grease was really nice, and like other musicals, but then you listen to Hamilton, and you're like, oh my god, I've never heard this like type of music before, and like it just sounded so good, and I loved it.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I mean, I know you're a music fan in general. I see you post about Lana Del Rey, not all the time, but like I've seen posts on your Instagram about Lana Del Rey. I mean, Lana Del Rey, when that love start. I mean, I think she's amazing.
She's great.
I was in high school, and I think my first song that I heard was National Anthem.
Yeah.
And then I love that song. And then just like hearing like her old songs, it was just like so soothing to me because I love like slow songs for some reason. Like it just makes me feel like better.
Yeah.
And so like her music was very therapeutic to me. Yeah. And so my brother also loves Lana Del Rey. So he would take me to her concerts. So like she was like the first concert I ever been to.
Yeah.
And it was like so crazy, but it was so fun.
I'm sure. That sounds awesome. I would love to go see Lana someday. I'm sure she's great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you a fan of the new stuff? I know it's been kind of like divisive a little bit. I like it honestly, but
yeah, I listened to it, and there's definitely some songs that I really like, and some songs that like I know it's gonna take a couple of listens to like actually like appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I just actually picked up the new CD not that long ago. I'm a CD guy still. You can make fun of me, but
physical media
physical
guy.
media, if you didn't know. But anyway,
if you couldn't tell.
I think like her album Norman fucking Rockwell is an absolute masterpiece. If you ask me, I think it's like. It's my favorite one of hers personally. I don't know how you feel about that one. Are you a fan?
I love that album. I love Ultraviolence. That's probably my favorite album.
Nice.
And then I think her Born to Die album, is that that like one of her first ones. That's like the one I listened to the most.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I think that might be the first. I know, like for me, it was like for some reason I had a really hard time warming up to Ultraviolence, and then like I finally, like, it wasn't until that long ago, probably last year, that I finally was like, I'm gonna give this one another shot, and I really do dig it now. It's a really, really great record. But yeah, it's just, I think it's because it's like it's such a slow burn of an album. You got to really put yourself in the mood and then like really like to appreciate that. But yeah, no, she's really, really brilliant. What other artists do you listen to outside of Lana?
So I recently bought.
Oh, did we lose her? Oh crap, Samee, you there?
I love Harry Styles.
Nice.
Whoa, we're freezing up here, guys. Sorry. No, don't know.
Cool. So like, I went to 2 concerts with a couple of friends.
Oh, we are freezing up.
With Solo, and I just love his album. I love his whole aesthetic, and I was like, you know what? I need to go to one of his concerts.
Are we back?
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. We were freezing up there for a second, Cilla. So if you could repeat, who were you referring to there? I'm sorry.
I was just saying that I'm gonna go to the Harry Styles concert. Hopefully,
nice.
Because
yeah. He just seems like also like one of the best celebrities around. Yeah. He just genuinely seems like a really great human. Genuinely, because I agree. I love both of his albums. His solo albums are so good. Like, I was shocked because I was not a big One Direction girl. I was like a Jonas Brothers girl, heart and soul. That was like, so when One Direction came around, I was like, I don't care because I still have Jonas Brothers. So why would I do that? And then by the time Jonas Brothers ended, I was like, just not in the mood. But his solo albums are incredible.
He's doing it so much differently than like every other artist out there, or most of them. You know, he's making sure that like everything, like there's real instruments used, and like I remember getting that first album and I was blown away because I honestly wasn't a big One Direction guy. So I mean, there was a couple songs I liked, but like I wasn't like a big fan, you know, and so like when he started doing solo stuff, it was like revolutionary. It felt like because he really was doing it a lot differently, and it reminds me a lot of the stuff that I grew up listening to, like a lot of like the classic like rock music and stuff like that, and which I really appreciate as well. Yeah, what about you? Like you into like any like classic rock or anything, Cilla, or like is that like something that you just don't get into?
Yeah, I like all genres of music, really. I can listen to like a rock song and then like a jazz song after that, and then like a pop song. So like I can listen to a lot of things. So yeah, I like a lot of rock songs too. But I think the only genre I don't like is country. I cannot seem to get into that.
So many people say that.
I tried.
No, I'm not a big country guy either, I'll be honest. Like, I think that for me it was I mean, like, older country, okay, but, like, this new country, I can't do it. It's very difficult to get into.
It's like, I always say, like, I like Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
That's the country music I like. You know, I kind of like that. I kind of, not only Dolly Parton herself, but kind of the whole kind of the women that came after her. Like, I like Reba McEntire's all right. Carrie Underwood's all right. I don't, like, seek them out, but, like, I could listen to it.
Right.
But, like, I love Dolly Parton. So I'm always like, I'm always like, I don't really like country. I like one very small sliver of country, and then I reject the rest of it. So I feel you.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, you know, things like that. You know.
It's
like,
Johnny Cash.
I can listen to that kind of stuff, but then it's like this new stuff is so. What's the word? Cookie cutter? Maybe it's too cookie.
I use what Bo Burnham does, and he calls it stadium pandering. Yeah, he calls it stadium country.
Yeah. Did you?
And that's how I think about it. Yeah.
Cilla, did you?
Do not like stadium country.
I was Cilla, are you a Bo Burnham person? Because we've been like hyping this guy up like over here for a good long while.
I didn't really know who that was until recently.
Okay.
Because of TikTok.
Yeah.
So
right.
I know he had like a couple songs, and they're pretty funny when you listen to them. But, yeah.
Yeah, no, you gotta watch. Like,
you should watch his
go
specials.
Down the rabbit hole, honestly, because like I've heard that from quite a few people though. It's like they didn't know who he was till recently, and it's like, oh wow, because TikTok really did blow him up, you know, a lot bigger than he was.
Because he did take the for the last like 5 years, he was on hiatus pretty much. Like he made 8th grade, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, so people forget.
Yeah, no,
and a whole new generation comes up, and there's just nothing new.
Right. To give you the breakdown, you got to watch the special Inside at least, Cilla, on Netflix. It's so damn good.
What's it special about?
It's like
I don't know how to describe it.
So, well, I mean,
Dom can try.
Yeah, because like Adam and I had a whole discussion about it on the Monthly Mumble show. So, I mean, the way that we kind of broke it down was basically like, so he really like during the pandemic he went through like an existential crisis and like filmed it and like edited it together. Like to make a, I guess, quote unquote comedy special, but it's also kind of like really depressing to watch. But I don't mean that in a bad way. Like it's depressing in like a relatable way. It's like we were all like going through this at one point in time, I feel like, in the pandemic. And it's like, so to see somebody like him, also go through a lot of those same emotions throughout it. It's pretty cool. It's super brilliant though. I mean, it is.
Oh my god, it's genius.
The stuff that because I mean, it was like shot, edited, directed, written by him, and like everything. So like when you see like the genius that he was able to do, it's really, really something. But it's really just him getting locked inside his room. For I mean, what's the runtime of the special? Like an hour and a half maybe, but it's so freaking
an hour and a half.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It's right. I'm like it's Bo Burnham locked inside.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Really
it's and that's the special. Yeah. But he's a genius though, so it's a genius stays inside for a year. And this was the result, It
really
that's
is.
Kind of, I guess, how I describe it.
He says it in the beginning. It really is kind of all over the place, though, and it's supposed to be that way. It's like it's that way by design, like where it's really random, but it's super great. I just highly recommend watching it. So like, what about like back to movies though? A little
and he
bit.
has
Go ahead,
he has 2 others though. Yeah, sorry, he has 2 others though on Netflix as well that are 2 others on Netflix. He has another one that's not on Netflix, but the first 2 called What and Make Happy are just kind of like they're more of their like regular kind of stand-up specials, like in front of an audience and everything. But it's hard to describe. It's because Bo Burnham does stand-up comedy in a very specific way. Yeah. But if you watch the first 10 minutes of What, I feel like you know what I mean, where it's hard to describe.
Right.
But it's just his own way of doing it. But it's so good and so funny.
Highly recommend.
I'll have to check that out.
Highly recommend.
You really should, honestly. Like check them all out. Inside is like the masterpiece, but like the other 2 are also very brilliant. Make Happy is great as well. Like Make Happy is another one I really hold to at a high level. I mean, it's so freaking good. But the what I would so yeah, sorry, back to movies though, so we can maybe try to transition to this news a little bit that we were going to talk about. Are you into like horror movies at all or anything like that?
No, because I'm a scaredy cat.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, well, I just remember, I don't know who did this to me, but I watched The Exorcist as a young kid, and that just traumatized me. Like even till today, like Scary movie. Cannot think about that movie. Oh my god, it was so scary. Like even I can't even think about her face because I'll have nightmares.
Yeah. So,
I feel you.
I mean,
it was Child's Play for me. I saw Child's Play too early. I saw it when I was like in 2nd grade or something. Traumatized me for life. Like I was scaredy cat ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, speaking of our news story, it was Halloween was the first horror movie I watched and it really freaked me out. I saw Exorcist a little bit later, which is a movie I still love and, hold very dearly to my heart, but still very scary. The scariest movie of all time is probably Exorcist, but so this Halloween Kills trailer dropped though. Cilla, are you into the Halloween movies then? Probably not, I would imagine. But
I did watch one of the movies like in middle school, and I haven't watched any since, but I know there's like a lot of them, and I know Jamie Lee Curtis was in some of them, so I like her as an actress too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I don't know, Sammy. What do you think of this trailer though?
No, yeah, I really like this trailer because I've seen the original Halloween, the first one, and then I saw the remake the new one that they did in 2018, the reboot one.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, the one that this movie's a sequel to.
Right.
I saw that one.
Right, exactly.
And I really liked both of them. The first one like wasn't as scary as I guess I thought it was going to be. It was more creepy. It was because I guess I was so used to kind of like, I don't know, the modern day horror thing where I was expecting like kills every second, jump scares, like freaky things all the time, and it's really just kind of, you know, Michael Myers just is menacing all around in different ways, and that's more creepy than like horrific for me.
Yeah.
So, but I really liked it. It was more of like a thriller drama, I guess. But it was still definitely though a horror movie. But the first one I really liked. I think it's not too scary, that like I could handle it for sure though.
Right.
And then and the new one I really liked too. The new one I kind of put on that level. It had like the vibe of the modern horror movie, but still kept true to the creepiness, because I think that's what makes the Halloween movie so great, that it's how just creepy Michael Myers is, and the thought of what he might do and trying to sneak around that and not quite knowing what he's going to do. That to me is what's horrifying.
Yeah.
So, and I really like this trailer. I got the same vibe from it. I'm hyped to see this.
Yeah. For Cilla, you could actually go back and watch the original first one and then watch the latest one that came out, and you won't be lost, because basically the new one gets rid of like every other Halloween movie except for the first movie. Like it basically says, fuck those movies, we're gonna make it more like the first movie. And we're gonna make it like basically a direct sequel to that, rather than trying to make, incorporate all the other crappy ones that came out, so I actually do recommend it. Like, I don't know, I know you're not a horror person, but I recommend giving it a shot. Maybe I like this. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was able to handle it. I feel like, because I know what you mean, it being like a super scaredy cat. Like Dom's trying to get me to watch the Sinister movie, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But Halloween, those all right.
Sinister.
Oh man,
you watched Sinister?
I think because there was a time when me and my friends had like movie nights, and so we would watch like that scary movie. I don't remember what it was about, but I just remember being so scared that me and my friends were like, no, we're not watching this anymore.
Dom, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I know Ethan Hawke's probably incredible in it. I'm gonna have to watch it like during the daytime. I'm gonna have to be in a good mood and it be daylight outside, and then maybe.
Oh no, you gotta see it. It's great. But for this trailer though, I really
Halloween is doable, not as scary. Like
right. I really dug this trailer though. I was kind of telling you, Samee, on stereo last night. I definitely think there's a connection between the granddaughter and Michael Myers, like that they're not telling us yet. I think that they kind of hinted at that.
I think so too.
In there, I mean, the part when that was intense as hell, when he's got the knife to her and she's just screaming to do it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be incredible. It looks like a really intense movie for sure, and I'm excited to see it. I love kills all the firemen right off the bat. I thought that was dope, so
it did.
Really dug that. So, what else is going on in the world of news, Samee?
So we could talk about Game of Thrones. So I've seen maybe like 2 or 3 episodes of Game of Thrones. I've been spoiled though for the whole show, so like I know what happens. But we have comicbook.com saying that Game of Thrones creator has promised a new ending. So I think this is, sorry, I have to read this article real quick, but it looks like George R.R. Martin is saying that the book, the 5th book, that A Dance of Dragons, the series Winds of Winter is the book that he's working on, and I think he's just kind of hinting that it's going to be different from that of the show. That's what I'm getting from this.
I know like a lot of people were against the ending. I personally like the ending. I thought it made sense. And like a lot of the what really confuses me here, it seems like a cop-out, because the creators said in an interview a long time ago, like while they were still working on the show, is that yes, they're going to get ahead of where the books go, but they're going to end it the same way that George wants to end it. George R.R. Martin wants to end it in the books. So it's kind of a cop-out for George R.R. Martin, in my opinion, to be like, oh yeah, now that the ending for the show got backlash, the original one I was going to use, now I'm not going to do that. It's just, it seems kind of like odd to me. But that said, I mean, it's cool that I mean, this book is finally coming out. I know fans have been waiting on it for a long time. But Cilla, I mean, you're a Game of Thrones person. I mean, what did you think of the ending? I mean, were you big on it, or would you rather it's something else?
I liked the ending, like the last season. I think it was the last episode I wasn't really a fan of. I think I loved Daenerys as a character, and her ending was just what rubbed me the wrong way, I guess. But I mean, it didn't make me mad or anything. It's just like, oh, that sucks that happened. But I still like the whole show as a whole. But yeah, I can see why people had a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, it's a little bit more like, well, I mean, we could spoil it. It's been out forever. But, you know, the fact that, you know, it's like, so Daenerys, because like the thing that seems to like make people divided on it is the fact that like Daenerys, like just all of a sudden has this like turn. But the way I looked at it is it's not really a turn, in my opinion. It's more or less like Daenerys was always trying to get on top, you know, like she was always wanting to end there from the beginning. If you go back and watch. So I don't know, like for me, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I actually really enjoyed it. I guess like if there was one like nitpick or gripe that I had, maybe they could have fleshed it out better for people to better accept it, you know, maybe like that was like, but like when you look at where it ultimately ends, I thought it was the ending that made a lot of sense, especially when you look at the main, the Stark family. I mean, okay. So the other thing that, you know, people are divided on is Bran being king. They don't like that. And so when I look at it, it's like, okay, because of where we're at, if you put Jon Snow on the throne, you know, or you make him king, he's, I mean, he's not going to be happy there. He was always happy, with the happiest with the Watch, and they show that at the end quite a bit. He's back at the Watch. He's got a smile on his face. I love that. Oh gosh, you remember this, Cilla? What's Sophie Turner's name in that show? His sister, not Arya, but Sansa. Yes, thank you. Sansa Stark. I love that she was the she got to be queen in the North. I thought that was really cool. And then I love Arya's ending too, because to me that opens it up for an Arya sequel series, which I still think is going to happen. I'm convinced at some point they will greenlight that and make that. But Arya's ending was great. I mean, everybody, and then Tyrion got to be an advisor by the end of it. So I just thought it was all like really well placed. But yeah, people were upset because Daenerys got killed at the end, you know, there. And you know, and her and Jon Snow's relationship that they seemed to be setting up was just kind of out the window. Okay, I don't know. I like their relationship too, but I think that was part of what made it so effective for me, is the fact that they took it and flipped it on its head, you know, and didn't go the direction that you think it would go. I really dug it. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, anybody else have any other thoughts on this story in particular?
Well, for me, I think I wasn't really mad that Daenerys had the ending that she did. I think it was kind of the timing of it. I guess they didn't really show how she was gonna go mad. I mean, every season was showing her being like a savior type, and so for her to just instantly turn was kind of like, oh, this wasn't what I was like hoping for. But I think if they had another season for her to like get there, I think that would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Because like what I was saying, my gripe is the fact that the way they fleshed it, you know, the way they fleshed it out and went into it. So I don't disagree, you know, because like I like the ending. I don't think it's the best ending in television history or anything. You know what I mean? I think that there are definitely things that they could have done better leading into that. I hear you. I mean, I guess for me it's just more or less like where it ends, it makes sense, you know. But like, so if George, I guess my point is, if George R.R. Martin's going to write the books and then he like by a different ending, he means he's just going to give us more story to transition into that, then that would be really cool. I would really like to see like almost like an extended cut of that last season, you know, I think more or less, rather than, you know, just changing the way it went altogether, you know, just making it make more sense, I guess, in a way. I don't know. Yeah, I think we agree on that. But yeah, Sammy, you haven't watched Game of Thrones, right?
Nope. Right. I've seen a couple episodes. I've seen a couple. Yeah, I can't tell you which ones. I've seen the first 3, and I've seen a couple throughout.
You should watch it.
I kind of just picked and choose because I was always like, it was always culturally aware of it, and I did try to watch it, and I just couldn't really get into it for whatever reason when I watched it.
You gotta stick with it.
But I was always like, every time a new episode would come out, it was all that was on Twitter, all that was online. So like I couldn't escape it. I got spoiled for it, even though I didn't watch it. I would get spoiled for it just because I was on the internet at the same time the episodes were premiering, you know. So it just kind of happened. But yeah.
Yeah.
I know my brother loves it.
Yeah.
That's about it. So we got another news story. WandaVision, speaking of which, they have changed their post-credit scene. And according to comicbook.com, which is what I also think it is, it says it may have added Doctor Strange. Big May. But I think they're right. So Marvel posted, I believe it was on like their YouTube page, the post-credit scene of WandaVision. However, it's different from the one that you see on Disney Plus because I think there's something different about the trees as well that someone pointed out. But when you look at the trees, there's like a kind of reflective kind of figure floating down towards Wanda. That's the big change, but that means a lot. That means someone was present there. That's big news. I think it was Doctor Strange because I think if the pandemic wouldn't have happened, Doctor Strange would have been in that post-credit scene. He would have like shown her something. You would have at least seen like the circle or something show up and seen a cape or something. I feel that's true in my heart. I know that's just me, but I feel like I'm right. But anyway, it did happen that there is a little reflective thing coming down. It's someone, it's something. Yeah, what do you guys think? Dom, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I was going to Cilla, Cilla, she caught this change and what she thought, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about it, and then when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's nothing. I don't really see any difference. Yeah. And then people are like, no, this is like, the trees are different. They had more trees. There's like this figure. And so I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like thinking, like, why would they edit now, like after the show is done? So I'm thinking that this scene might be in the next Doctor Strange movie, maybe. So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't think the figure is strange, though, honestly. Like, I was talking to you about this on stereo last night, Samee. I don't think that this figure is strange, personally. I think it's... I don't see them adding Strange and then having him, like, fly over like, you know, they did. I think it's something else entirely. That, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, I think that we're going to get an answer to it. Don't get me wrong. I know everybody's gonna be, it's strange. It's like, it's not that I don't want Strange in the thing. I do. I would love it if I thought this was Strange, but for not 1 second do I think this is Doctor Strange. Not at all. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up to me if it is. But I think we'll get the answer and we'll find out. So, anybody else got anything they want to add before we move on? I'll take that as a no.
No,
right,
nope. Cool. We do have our last story for today is that Emilia Clarke ended with, I was like, we can end with some Game of Thrones / Star Wars news.
Cool.
Counts.
Hell yeah.
Emilia Clarke talking about how she has a few ideas for a Kira spinoff series. So she's just basically saying she wants it to happen. She feels like Kira was left with unfinished business. I'm assuming she's talking about the big Darth Maul of it all. But she wants it to happen. She has ideas. I've said a lot of times I am not the biggest Solo fan, but Kira was not the worst thing about that movie, so would not be mad that we continue with the whole Darth Maul thing and all of that. I would love to see that. Yeah, what do you got?
For sure. Scylla, what do you think?
I love Emilia Clarke as an actress, so I would love to see a series with her too, because watching Solo, I kept looking at her. She's just so pretty, the outfits and like, oh my god, and her story. So I'd definitely be up for a series with her because she's amazing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I said, like, I think that's the thing that everybody remembered after watching Solo is the Kira Maul thing, and it would just be a big error if they don't follow up on that. Outside of that, I mean, I love the story because I love how much Emilia Clarke is like involved in this and how much she loves this character still. And I think that it would be a missed opportunity, in my opinion, if they don't like use her again. And you know, she's still kind of in the same under the same umbrella, you know, working on that Secret Invasion show with Marvel. So it just makes sense that they use her here, you know, over at in Star Wars as well, which they've been doing a lot of, crossing over actors, you know, between the two. So it makes sense to me. I don't know. So how far did you get into Rebels?
I'm on season 2 right now.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's far enough. Yeah.
Well, not for what I was going to ask you, which was going to be, I was going to ask you, like, if you think that the mall thing had something to do with Kira in there, but I don't know. But so for me, you know, I guess a better way to ask it then is, like, what do you think happens with Kira and Maul after this? You know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I remember watching Solo, but I don't remember much of it because it was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't remember their exchange, what he had said to her.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like, I mean, you know, it's really not much. Like, honestly, we don't really have a lot to go on. You know, it's like, because it really wasn't a lot anyway. I mean, it was basically, you know, she took over the Crimson Dawn, and then, you know, she just contacts Maul, you know, and then that's basically, we just find out that Maul's running that whole operation over there in Crimson Dawn. That's really it. But, you know, other than that, there's really not much conversation. He just said, meet me at the ship or whatever, you know, and
I didn't quite remember either. Because, like, when that moment came on screen, I had not seen Rebels or anything. So, like, when that moment happened, I was just like, is that Darth Maul? What is he doing here? What? I was like, wait, when does this movie take place? That was all that was going through my mind. I was not paying attention to dialogue.
Yeah.
None of that.
No, I mean, I just don't think we have like a lot to go on. But if you've seen Rebels, well, I'll let you finish this, Cilla. I won't spoil it for you. But like, there's some stuff there, and it's like I really do question whether or not, you know, Kira has something to do with where we end up finding Maul in Rebels. So that's the big thing there. But yeah, I just love how attached she is to this character and all that. But yeah, I mean, does anybody have anything else they want to add here? No. Okay.
That we good.
All right. Cool. But yeah. So Cilla, I mean, the one thing that we offer to all of our guests before we wrap up the show is because we picked your brain long enough. I mean, is there anything that you would like to ask us before you take off? We always offer a couple questions for our guests.
I guess the question I could ask, I mean, I've been thinking about this too for a while.
Okay.
But if has there ever been a movie that you've seen in theaters where you walked out because you didn't like the movie? Because there was one movie that I almost walked out, and I don't know if other people have that experience.
Okay.
Interesting. I've never actually walked out. I've always felt like I've always been like, well, if I walk out, am I gonna really ask for a refund? I watched this movie, so am I just gonna I always think like the money of it all, and I'm like, well, I paid for it, I might as well just stay. So I've never walked out, but I've wanted to. I have wanted to before. I'm trying to think. Like, yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I have to. It's been so long since I've like seen a bad movie in theaters. You know what I mean? Because it's like all of 2020, there was nothing. This year has been all right.
Yeah.
Come back to me.
Yeah,
Dom,
sure.
go ahead.
I mean, there's been a couple that I've definitely wanted to. Wrinkle in Time, that being one of them, I definitely wanted.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What's another one? I mean, I think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, I wanted to walk out of that one. We were having so much fun laughing at it though, me and my buddies, so we didn't really end up walking out at the end of the day. But no, the one I did walk out of though is going to be a surprise to everybody here, but that was the Clone Wars movie. Back when it came
Interesting.
out.
You walked out?
Walked out. Yeah, I watched it later when I had means to do that. You know, I finished it, you know, later after home release. But at the time, I really hated it that much. I walked out of it. And I was with some friends. They weren't liking it either. So all of us just like booked it. Yeah. So that's the one that I've actually walked out of. Funny, it's a Star Wars movie, I know. But yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Anyway, Samee, did you come up with one?
I mean, I'm trying to think. I didn't like really feel like I wanted to walk out, but I got like real frustrated during Solo at the famous moment of like, well, what's your name? You're alone?
Yeah.
We'll name him Han Solo. Like, I just had a moment where I was like in the theater, like, I can't keep what this is. You're gonna. I felt like insulted as a viewer. I was like, I'm more intelligent than this movie. Why can't you be? Why are you asking me to accept this? I feel insulted.
Yeah.
It's been that before. Wrinkle in Time, though, for sure. I was definitely like, I don't want to watch this. I have turned off movies before. Like when I've rented movies and like just turned it off and not be able to watch it. Like Me Before You, we've talked about before, that Emilia Clarke movie. With Sam Claflin, I turned it off. I was like, I can't with this movie. It just nothing. I was like, I hate the characters. I don't care if they get together. The plot's boring. I don't like them. Turn it off.
I would
have yet to actually walked out.
I mean, I was gonna say, I feel like you just don't like Emilia Clarke.
I do though. I do like Emilia Clarke. I mean, I'm trying to think though. Let me see. Is there a role though that I actually really do like? I like her as a person. Her as a person, I feel like is fine. But yeah, didn't really watch Game of Thrones. I do not want to watch Last Christmas. I just heard it was so bad and she seemed so annoying.
Yeah.
I don't like her in rom-coms. There we go. Yeah. I don't like Emilia Clarke rom-coms.
Yeah, I would.
That I'll say
really quick. I would like to point out to the folks at Disney and Lucasfilm that I do own the Clone Wars movie on Blu-ray. I have seen it since.
It all worked out. And, you got your money eventually.
Yes. And this was actually not cheap. This is hard to find nowadays. This Blu-ray. So
yeah.
I had to get it because I'm a completionist. But Cilla, what was the movie you walked out on? Now I'm curious.
So there was two. One of them was Tarzan, the live action one. With Margot Robbie and Alexander Skarsgård. I just did not like that movie at all.
That came out.
I didn't see it.
Bored with it. It was I was like, what is this?
I heard bad things.
So I was like, you know what? I'm about to walk out because the ending. I was like, oh my god, if this happens, I'm gonna walk out. And it happened, and my friend was just looking at me the whole time. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay because it's almost over, but I want to walk out.
Yeah.
And then the next one was probably Apocalypse X-Men. I did not like that one at all.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. Yeah.
I like X-Men Apocalypse, actually. I know I'm in the minority. I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of the lesser X-Men movies, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's awful. Like I actually liked Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. Like I didn't think it was that bad. It's boring in the beginning though, so if you walked out in the first hour, then I don't blame you because it's very boring and hard to get through for a while. But once the action starts, I was like, okay, it's fine. I mean, I don't like Dark Phoenix that much either, but even that one to me is fine. It's watchable. It's just there's so many problems with it, if you ask me, in terms of pacing and things like that. It's just it's those X-Men got rough toward the end there for sure. I'm trying to think if there's another one that I was wanted to walk out. So
I did. I remembered another one that because I saw this movie with a friend of mine and I got there early and the trailers were already starting. So I just went and got seats and told them where we were sitting. So she would come meet me. And the movie, she got there 5 minutes after the movie started. And I was like, okay, if she doesn't get here in the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to walk out and leave because I did not like it. I didn't want to see it. I was just she wanted to see it and I was being nice, but it was Fan4Stick. I will always call it Fan4Stick. The most recent Fantastic Four movie. Yeah. It was so bad and it never got better. Yeah. I was like, I kind of wish she didn't show up so I didn't have to watch this movie because it was rough.
Yeah.
I wanted to walk out.
Yeah. I feel like there was another one that I did walk out on. This isn't walked out on, but American Hustle. I love that movie.
Really?
But the power went out in the middle of it, so we had to leave. So that was a different thing. So not necessarily walked out on. But no, I can't think of anything else. I think I have sat through many a disaster in my day.
Yeah,
that's for sure. There's a lot of bad movies that I definitely look back and I'm like, I should have walked out or things like that. But
there's so many movies that I'm like, I could have turned it off when I wanted to, and I would be the same person because of it. Where movies you're I feel like you're I should just watch the rest of it. I've gotten this far, and then it ends, and you're I didn't need to watch the rest of this movie.
Yeah.
I was fine.
I kind of wanted to more recently shut off The Conjuring 3. I really did not like
Really?
that movie. Yeah, it was boring to me. I really wanted to shut it off, but I actually watched that twice though in one day. I did the opposite
Really?
of yeah, because I did the review and then everybody was giving me shit about it. And then like I listened to a couple of other reviews on it, and like of people I know, I listened to their reviews, and they told me give this another shot, try to see it from this perspective or look at it this way. I was like, all right, so I watched it twice before I did my final review on it, and my second time I watched it, I got a little bit more positive on it because I was like, okay, I kind of see where people are coming from, but I still really don't like that movie. I think it's one of the worst of the year so far. It really wasn't good. That and Fast 9, I did not enjoy this year.
Fast 9, I had a moment. I was like, I
Fast
swear.
and Furious movies.
What's that?
They're rough, man.
They just don't seem interesting to me. Like, there's so many. I'm like, why are they still making these?
Well, you can talk to Samee. She's a newcomer to these.
I spent literally last week. I watched the first one and I skipped the second and third, but I watched every single other Fast and Furious movie in a week in preparation to watch Fast 9. And I agree, like I have so many opinions on the Fast and Furious franchise. It's a lot. And so like if you're just like they don't seem interesting, I'm just like, honestly, you should probably just now watch them then. They're a lot. Yeah. But I mean, I don't hate them, you know what I mean? Like they're fun, I'll say that. Like I don't like what am I gonna say? I like 7. 7 was really good. 7 was actually like 7 to me was like a real movie, you know what I mean? That was like a real actual good action movie.
Yeah.
Versus the other ones are like they're Fast and Furious movies. They're in a different thing, you know.
I'm not trying to convince anybody one way or the other here. I'm just saying though, like, cause there's Fast and Furious movies I clearly don't like as well, but I'm just saying that it's crazy though, because if you skip any of them, then you're lost on some of them. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the problem with that though. It's like, it would be easy to just tell you, hey, watch Fast 5 and watch Furious 7 because they're the best too. It'd be easy to sit there and say that, but on the same hand, it's like you're going to be watching those. Like, what the hell is going on?
And it is true that I think a lot of why Furious 7, I think is the official title, but a lot of why Furious 7 impacted me was because I did have, like, I cared about the characters by that point. So, I mean, not to spoil it. So, but when something happens, I was like, I found myself actually very emotionally impacted by it because I was like, holy shit, I do care about these people. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah. But I do, and it hit, and it worked.
I don't know. Yeah. See, now...
I will say though, I did have the thought though, because I was explaining it all because I saw it with my mom, and my mom has not seen any Fast and Furious movies. So I gave her like a brief rundown before we saw Fast 9. And I was like, I swear to God, if they kill another woman, like I might walk out. I was like, Mom, if you see me walk out, it's because a woman just died. That is one thing. I cannot stand how just so many of the women just die in these franchises. And I'm like, I feel like a couple of them could die in the future too. So if they kill off any more women in the main cast, I will be walking out Fast and Furious.
Well, you know, with me, Samee, I am a fan of the franchise overall, like in its entirety. Like I do enjoy it enough, and this is the Fast 9. It finally got to the point where I was like, this is getting too much. You know, it's getting to be too much. You know, for me. Right. So it's like took 9 movies, but I'm finally there where I'm like, it's ridiculous at this point. You know, I don't think I could do it anymore. You know, I mean, I'll watch them.
It's a lot, and there's 2 more. There's gonna be 11. I was like, oh my God, there's gonna be 2 more.
Yeah. 11 movies and whatever other spin-offs they want to come up with and stuff like that. You know, it's like it is getting to be too much for myself, honestly, and I'm a fan of it. And that's what sucks. It's like,
there's also like we really, if anyone was concerned or wasn't sure if we live in a patriarchy, I'm like, guys, there's gonna be 11 Fast and Furious movies, and you're gonna tell me we don't exist in a patriarchy? Are we back?
You're back.
You got the gist of what I said.
Yeah, I did.
You're going to make 11 of these and say we don't live in a patriarchy? Come on. No.
100%.
This is proof. This is evidence.
Yeah. So any other questions you wanted to ask us before we took off here today?
I guess I can just ask Samantha especially, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Oh, my favorite, I have a tie. It's between The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Those are my 2 favorites. I really can't pick between them. I rewatched both of them too recently, like a month ago, and I'm like, I still can't pick. They're both so perfect to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those two for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big like Disney princess person too. Like that's my favorite kind of subset of Disney movies is the princesses.
Mm-hmm.
And like those are the best too. Those are I have nothing bad to say about those movies. Those are my two favorites by far. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you didn't ask me, but my favorite's The Lion King. So just in case you're curious.
The Lion King.
Yeah. The Lion King's up there. I am obsessed
Same.
with The Lion King. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can listen to the soundtrack all day.
Oh my God. It is phenomenal.
Great soundtrack.
I love it.
Have you ever watched, side note, have you ever watched, so Hans Zimmer did, he did Coachella like a few years ago and he did like all of his soundtracks and he does the ending of The Lion King. I think it's like King of Pride Rock is the official thing.
I love that.
But
track.
like the whole thing of like Simba walking up it, he does that whole thing with this huge live orchestra and like a live choir. It gives me chills every time. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But Hans Zimmer at Coachella, it is phenomenal. Wow. Yeah,
for sure. I haven't seen that, no, but I mean, Hans Zimmer's score for that movie is one of my favorites. He's so damn good at what he does. Yeah, love it so much. And yeah, I actually own that soundtrack on physical disc as well. So love that soundtrack so much. It's so great. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up here, guys. Cilla, thank you so much for being here. You were so great today. Hopefully we have you back, and hopefully you come back around to Star Wars Sundays. We miss you over there. So whenever you got time, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. This was fun.
No problem. Not a problem. Yeah, guys, so we're going to get going. Before we do go, Cilla, is there anything that you want to plug here or anything? I
guess you can just find me on Instagram and Twitter on Cilla_Torres, and that's pretty much it.
Right on. And Samee, where can people find you before we go?
I'm on Instagram at Samee Ramirez 14, on Twitter at Samee Ramirez, and then on Twitter and Stereo at Samee Ramirez. And then hosting movie night every Monday here on Anorak's Entertainment Podcast. We have our one out right now that is on Fast 9. And then this upcoming Monday, we're going to be doing Thor Ragnarok, doing a little Marvel before we do Black Widow the next week. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, guys, you can find me on that episode too, movie night. I'm not a big fan of Thor Ragnarok, so I'm looking to revisit it.
I'm gonna convert.
Hopefully get
I'm gonna do some conversion therapy.
Hopefully I'm gonna get a fresh perspective from Samee and discussion on it. And yeah, I'm still looking forward to revisiting it. I'm a huge Taika Waititi fan, so I want to watch it again and try to see what's good about it. But we'll see. It might go badly. But yeah, guys, anyway, we are going to get going, and you could find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_ and on Instagram Dom_Martino_official. YouTube.com/C/Anorax is the link here. I don't know why I plugged that. You're already here. So, and then you guys can find this show on Spotify as well. Over here, guys, we have some merch. Please go follow this link, merch.streamelements.com/Anorax. Pick up some shirts and stuff. Much appreciated. And then over here, streamelements.com/Anorax/tip. You can leave us a tip if you want your messages read out on video form. But if not, you can find us all in stereo at Dom Martino. Cilla's at Cilla_Torres, and Samee's at Samee Ramirez. So appreciate everybody joining. I want to thank our guest Cilla again. It was great to have her, and hope to have her back sometime.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's been a really, really fun show. Thanks everybody. We're gonna get going. Bye-bye.